It's week 12. It's the Fans First Sports Network. It's the NFL, and Fans First and the NFL go hand in hand. We are here once again to talk all about these Sunday games. Oh, yeah. I'm feeling it, guys. We're going down the stretch. We're almost done with November. This is, in baseball, it's the dog days of August. No, this is the delightful days in the NFL as everything happens. A crazy game. Some games went into overtime. Some games almost ended up in an upset. Well, some did. Oh, man, I can't wait to talk about it all. And I'm here with my buddies. Nick Hogan, Foxborough Frenzy. What is up?
What's going on? Glad to be back. Sorry I missed last week, but unlike the Patriots, I am showing up today for you guys.
Well, thank you, and we appreciate that. You are more consistent than anybody in that flying Elvis helmet. Jess Place, what is going on? You're a happy man. You're Broncos winners. Mile High Broncos here, Fans First Sports Network. JP, what's going on?
I intend to kick your ass today.
That's right, Raiders. We kick your ass. What do you want? Bring it. Sweep. I don't want to hear about an 8-game streak that came to an end this year. We got a 2-game sweep this season. Hi.
All right, my name is Brian Anthony Davis. I am here representing not only the Fans First Sports Network, not only the Steel Curtain Network, but the Las Vegas Raiders Insider. And Jess has just been fired. So, Jess, we love you, but don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. I guess we got to bring him back. I can't quit Jess. So, anyways, yeah, a great game with the Broncos and the Raiders. Actually, that game was statistically very close. It was a 29-19 score, Jess, and those 10 points came off of turnovers. Hogan, what did you see in this game here?
Well, actually, before recording, Jess and I were talking about how it was as much as he delights in the Raiders losing to his Broncos, as they did today, it was actually kind of close, and it was getting a little nitty-gritty towards the end where it was 19-16. The Raiders were doing everything they could to really try and battle back there. Unfortunately, sounds like there was a season-ending injury to Gardner Minshew for the Raiders there. They had to go with Desmond Ridder for the rest of the game, and that did not pay them dividends where the Broncos were able to take advantage of that. Looks like Bo Nix continues his nice little rookie season there, throwing to Cortland Sutton. That defense clamped down. They scored the 10 points at the end, like you said, and took care of business. So Broncos wheeling and dealing at 7-5 now.
Jess, you've got to feel pretty good with the Colts losing today, the Bengals on a bye. It seems like Denver could really be in the pole position for that number 7 spot, and who knows what happens. They could even inch up to number 6.
Yeah, the Broncos are in control of their own destiny with a 2-game lead on the Colts, and something that happened this week. The Cincinnati Bengals-Browns game was flexed out of a Thursday night game, and the Broncos-Chargers were flexed in. So the Broncos are going to steal the mini-bye from the Bengals right before the Broncos play the Bengals the week before. So it kind of works out win-win-win for the Broncos. So I love it. It's been a decade, and I'm enjoying a playoff push at the end of November going into December. It's rarefied air for us. It's been a while.
So, Jess, you and I will be enemies tomorrow night as the Baltimore Ravens take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Both of us looking for Absolutely. I will be rooting for the Chargers like crazy. I will be singing that song. And with that game and the fact that they play head to head, they could go ahead and move up a spot and move ahead in not only the AFC West standings, but they can move up in the AFC as well. The Chiefs are still the one they are looking at, but both the Broncos, do the Broncos play the Chiefs again? I believe they do.
The last game of the season. It's the throwback D uniforms again. So
oh, nice. That's going to be really interesting. Hogan, so you mentioned the injury to Gardner Minshew. Now, as of recording time, that has not been completely confirmed, but that's the report coming out Do you have
I
it
saw
confirmed?
report
Collarbone?
broken collarbone. It's broken.
Okay.
John Ritter is going to be the quarterback for the Raiders.
Or is it going to be Daniel Jones, Hogan?
Potentially, there's a lot of rumors swirling around with Daniel Jones after getting cut by the Giants earlier this week. That obviously the Raiders will be in contest for him now with needing a quarterback. There's also teams that I've seen with the 49ers being interested as well, depending on how banged up Brock Purdy is and the way that they played today. So definitely going to be interesting to see who wins the Danny Dimes sweepstakes.
Jess, one more. I know you abhor the Raiders, but objectively, I know this is tough when it comes to the Raiders, but objectively, what do the Raiders do? Do they go after a Danny Dimes, or do they just try to get in position for a Shador Sanders, if that's the guy that they want, or a top quarterback, and try to get that position? I know there's never true tanking by the players because the players don't tank, but sometimes organizations do put that into play. Where do you think the Raiders are going to look for the end of the season?
And my brother-in-law texted me and he said, right now the Raiders are sitting at the 3rd overall pick. And I think that is kind of the trajectory that they're going to go towards. I don't see them bringing in Danny Dimes just from the standpoint, like they need to lose. And it's kind of like the Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, the other guy. I want to say Danucci, but it's not Danucci. It's the
DeVito.
DeVito. It's the other Italian guy.
Danny DeVito, yes.
Yes, Danny DeVito is coming in. Organizations are going to make choices for their organization. They're not going to pay to bring in a Daniel Jones when they're just a few months away from bringing in the next great quarterback for the Raiders, supposedly. So I just don't see it.
Let's go ahead and talk about the Chiefs, since we brought those are who these two teams are looking up at. The Chiefs, they had a tough one against the Panthers, winning in the final second, 30-27, Hogan.
Yeah, this was actually an incredible game to watch where everybody kind of thought the Chiefs were going to just steamroll the Panthers, who have been the butt of a lot of jokes last year, this year. But the Carolina Panthers showed up to play today, and Bryce Young has actually looked somewhat decent in the last few games that he's been able to start there. And today he did his best to outduel Patrick Mahomes, but was unable to do so. Patrick Mahomes looking very much like his old self, throwing for 269 yards and 3 touchdowns. Didn't really have a lot of favorites. He spread the ball out a ton today. DeAndre Hopkins snagging a touchdown, and then Noah Gray, the backup to Travis Kelce, catching 2 touchdowns there. But like I said, Carolina almost stole the show where they tried their best to win at the end, scoring, getting a 2-point conversion to tie it up. But Mahomes magic yet again, gets down the field. They kick the last-second field goal to steal the win away from the Carolina Panthers. And I'm sure a lot of people who are still in their pick'em pools are very happy about that.
Just how sick of you are of Mahomes magic, and do you feel that this team could be caught?
The ball has bounced their way all year long. This team could very easily have a record similar to the Broncos. Like it is not fair that they have the record that they have. I'm still bitter about the blocked field goal. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the State Farm commercials with Andy Reid acting a fool. Like I'm ready for all this to stop. It's time for someone to unseat Mahomes.
Don't forget about great Googly Moogly and the stealing of the Snickers commercial and the chefs, a classic from the late 80s, early 90s. Let's go ahead and we'll switch conferences now. This was another crazy game. I've got to talk Commanders losing 3 straight, and this time to Dallas, who snapped their 5-game losing streak. Hogan, when I was growing up, it was always when it was DC against Dallas, that was the rivalry back in the 80s and the early 90s.
Yeah, this one, honestly, if you just watch the last minute of this game, you got to see all the action you needed to really from this game. It was absolutely incredible where Dallas got up big early, looked like they were going to steal the show and knock off the, I almost said they are the old name for them, but they're the Commanders now. I got it. They're the Commanders. They almost lost to we're going to blow it, but the Commanders found a way to fight back in this game. Terry McLaurin snagging, I think it was an 86-yard touchdown with 21 seconds left that looked like it was going to tie up the game to make it 27-27. Instead, the Commanders missed the extra point to make it 27-26. immediately go for the onside kick. What does Dallas do? They return the onside kick for a touchdown. Just pure mayhem for the last 20 plus seconds of this game. But it was so much fun to watch, where you saw Jaden Daniels finally coming back down to earth. Like you said, they've lost a few games now. He still threw the ball around a lot today, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks, but was not able to outduel Cooper Rush, throwing for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns. Neither running game really got going. And in fact, actually, Brian Robinson Jr. got hurt a little bit early on in this game. He was able to come back, and it looked like Austin Eckler actually got banged up towards the end there, too, with a possible concussion on one of the kick returns. But Rico Dowd having a decent day on the ground, 19 carries for 86 yards. So Dallas showing a little bit of sign of life, obviously a little too late in the season at this point. Washington, wheels are starting to come off. Like you said, they've lost a few games now. They're sitting at 7-5.
Jess, do you see the Commanders rebounding, or is this just a great early season story?
I like the Commanders. I think they're, I mean, in the NFC East, I think they're fun. They have a chance. It's a rookie quarterback. No one expected anything from them. It's the Commanders, I enjoy it just from the standpoint of, rookie of the year. Is it going to be Bo Nix? Is it going to be Jaden Daniels? Could it be Brock Bowers? Probably not. Yeah, they're not dead yet. Don't throw dirt on them yet. I think this is just a midseason swoon. I think they will figure it out. Jaden Daniels is too good to struggle.
Jaden Daniels will not be Rookie of the Year, because I'm here to announce it's already been claimed. Myles Garrett has announced that he is Rookie of the Year. So congratulations to
oh my gosh,
95.
Okay, I'll get behind that.
I had to. Titans and Texans. The Texans were the Commanders last year, and they took a big step this year, but they're starting to struggle. Titans, this was their Super Bowl. This was a divisional game. When we were talking off mic that there's no trap games when you're in division, it's just a letdown game. And the Titans 32, Texans 27. What a game, Hogan.
Yeah, this one was wild. Again, this one also came down to the end where it looks like the Texans were going to steal away the victory from the Titans. Lots of sloppy play in this, a lot of turnovers from both sides, with Tennessee and Houston trading turnovers, it seemed, at the end there, where it looked like at one point, I think the Texans got a pick 6 to take the late lead. Tennessee came right back and scored again. Will Levis looking not half bad, actually, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Tony Pollard was the story of the day, though, really getting the ground game going. 24 carries, 119 yards, and 1 touchdown. He had a few receptions in there as well, 3 for 10 yards. But Calvin Ridley, again, continues to impress without the presence of DeAndre Hopkins there for Tennessee, catching 5 catches for 93 yards. And on the Houston side, CJ Stroud, as much success as he had last year, he's starting to come back down to earth a lot this year, where he has not really impressed, especially with the weapons getting back that he has, with Nico Collins fully healthy. Nico Collins, 5 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Tank Dell added 3 catches for 72 yards, but CJ Stroud throwing for 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Those 2 interceptions really cost Houston, especially towards the end there. And Joe Mixon, who has been the stud for Houston, absolutely no show today. 14 carries, 22 yards, absolute dud for them. So Houston drops a tight divisional game that they really can't afford to lose going into the later part of the season right now. But I still think they walk away with the division at this point.
It looks like they do. If they would have won this game, they would have had a 4-game lead and basically put the Colts away. The Colts did lose today to the Detroit Lions. What were your impressions of this game, Jess?
I was a little surprised. The Titans had no business winning this game, but with CJ Stroud throwing 2 interceptions and a run game stymied at just 40 yards for the whole game, including quarterback rushes, that's not going to get it done. I was surprised.
All right, we talked about the Colts, and the Colts were standing up early on to the Detroit Lions, but the Detroit Lions seemed to be the favorite. They came away with the win. It was 24-6. Lions on the road. Lions have a short week. They're going ahead and playing their early Turkey Day game. Hogan, the Lions are for real. They are no turkeys going into the 4-game turnaround.
No, they're not. Detroit looks absolutely unbeatable yet again. Stop me if you've heard this before. A lot of people have them on their number 1 polls, where they're ahead of the Chiefs at this point, and rightfully so because of the way they've been able to dominate teams on the ground, through the air, defensively, everything. And today they did the same thing to the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson, I know he's got to play because Flacco is not the long-term answer there, but Anthony Richardson continues to not get it done through the air. 11 for 28, 172 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions, but even rushing the ball, he tried to carry it 10 times for 61 yards. Indianapolis only scores 6 points. They couldn't really get anything done offensively. On the flip side, Detroit's run game is just lights out. The running back tandem there of Sonic and Knuckles, as they call themselves, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, is absolutely incredible to watch. Jahmyr Gibbs, 21 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. Montgomery, only 8 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown. But that's all the scoring they needed to just pile it on. Where, like I said, if it's not Jared Goff throwing a picture perfect game through the air, they're going to smash mouth and beat you on the ground the way that they have. And defensively, even losing Aiden Hutchinson the way they did, they have not let up at all. Detroit Lions, watch out for them.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Jess, when I'm looking at this, when I'm hearing Sonic and Knuckles, I think we're at the bottom of the list as far as nicknames. What's next? Lenny and Squiggy?
Yes, absolutely.
Now that for real, I know the Colts. This is a big game for them to go ahead and lose for your Denver Broncos, but they're not the story. The story is the Detroit Lions, and each week they seem to get stronger. After losing in the NFC Championship game last year, now the Lions seem to be in pole position right now, especially in the NFC. We know the Philadelphia Eagles are there, and we know how tough the Philadelphia Eagles are, but do you feel that this team is destined now after everything that happened last year?
Oh, yeah. They've got the Lions controlled their own destiny, and they have been dominant these last few weeks. And I see them continuing that dominance. You better watch out, NFL. Like, the Lions are legit.
They are. And you know what's legit? We got to take a break. So we're going to do that. We will be back right after this, gentlemen, with the second half as we talk about the rest of the games and talk about our teams of the week. Keep it right here on the Fans First Football Show from the Fans First Sports Network. No charge to charge, but I tell you what, that's some good theme music. Just Place wrote
you
that.
got to make them whoa.
Yes,
that's
they will whoa. And
someone
Jess,
was writing lyrics and was like, "I've got it."
Didn't you write that on a Casio?
Divine inspiration. Whoa.
Hogan, can you see Jess playing the guitar back in the day?
Oh, 100%.
I
Absolutely.
went to the Smithsonian and saw Herbie Hancock's guitar. It was kind of a religious experience.
Yeah, that was it. Have you been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I haven't. No.
Nick?
Hall of Fame. I've been to the Hall of Fame once.
I haven't.
I have. I've actually twice in the last 2 years I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That was a religious experience for me, just like Canton is as well. But we got to talk about the real Hall of Famers. We've got to talk about the NFL, and we are back here. Lots of great, crazy games. NFL never seems to disappoint week in and week out. There's not a dud week. They always seem to figure this out, and it gets better year after year. We've talked about a lot of games so far. The one that he's been dreading talking about, we've got to talk about. Let's go to Miami. The Dolphins 34, the Patriots 15. Are the Dolphins figuring things out? Because they are lurking now for that 7th seed, Hogan.
Yeah, Miami is definitely figuring things out, and they're figuring them out at the right time where they look like they were dead in the water at one point. I believe they were like 2-5, 2-6, whatever it was. They've won a few straight now. They look really, really good. With Tua coming back from his injury, everybody in the world had questions about him. He tore it up today, 317 yards, 4 touchdowns. Very, very easy to do against this Patriots defense because, heck, I could go out there and probably catch a couple touchdowns against this Patriots defense at this point. They are just no showing. Again, last week, obviously, doing the abysmal display against the Rams. They continue to do so today, where apparently nobody felt like covering Jalen Waddle. 8 catches, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. And then our old pal, Jonnu Smith, who we shipped out of town to Atlanta last year, decided to come back and haunt the Patriots for 9 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. And don't forget about Devon Achane, who added another 2 touchdowns in the receiving area over there. So just anybody that wanted to score against this Patriots defense could do so. And even though the bright side of the Patriots offense is Drake May, per usual, again, he struggled a little bit today where he was not able to get anything going, throwing for 222 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. The Patriots just continue to struggle. They continue to not adjust, adapt on the fly. This coaching staff is really, really frustrating me as a longtime Patriots fan. And I know it's the first year, so I got to be patient, but my patience is wearing thin. But on the bright side, we're getting closer to that number 1 draft pick that we hopefully will be vying for at the end of the season. So hopefully the Raiders, I know you don't want them to win, Jess, but hopefully they continue to win. Some other teams that don't have that many wins keep winning. So that way that my Patriots can do what they need to do. So that's it.
All right, I'm going off track here, but who do you covet? Is Travis Hunter the number 1 right now?
As much as I wouldn't mind having an explosive playmaker like that, we've got to address the trenches because I'm a lineman through and through, and that is the biggest thing. Today, Vidarian Lowe, our starting left tackle, I believe he had 4 or 5 penalties between false starts, holdings, and everything like that. And Drake May's health and consistency needs to be the biggest thing at this point. So as much as I'd love the splashy pick with the skill guy, I got to go with my heart and say protect your future and investments at this point.
So you trade down if you're the number 1 pick then?
Probably.
Mm-hmm. All right. We'll talk more about that on the Fans First Draft Show debuting in February. That was just created in my mind 20 seconds ago when Hogan was talking. So guys, we got to talk after the show. But Jess, let's talk about the Dolphins, man. I know Tua went down. He's back. They seem to be humming. Do you feel Finn steps coming up?
I really want to embrace the Dolphins. Like, and Hogan, bless your heart. Like, you'll probably take an issue with this. I think the Dolphins are due. Like, they've been terrible for so long that, like, I think the NFL needs them to be good for a little while, and I think it's good for the sport. But it feels like fool's gold with Tua because all it takes is one bad hit and then the bottom falls out again, just like that rough patch that Hogan was talking about earlier. I said it last week. Watching him play makes me so nervous. I feel like I'm about to watch a car accident, and that could happen, and like at any point.
All right, let's go ahead and let's stay in Florida. And a great day for Florida as all 3 teams went undefeated today. We just talked about the Dolphins. We're going to talk about the Buccaneers next, winning 30-7. And thank goodness the Jacksonville Jaguars were on a bye, so they did not lose, or they would have. And I could say that as a follower and a producer of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast Network. Make sure you check that out. John Shipley has a really good show, though. So let's keep on going. The Buccaneers, there was some taunting with between Danny DeVito and Baker Mayfield today. Well, he's not a faker anymore. He's not with the Browns. So Baker Mayfield, who's having a fantastic season, 30 points for the Buccaneers in this game, Hogan, as they win 30-7 over the New York Football Giants.
I am more than okay with the Faker name, by the way. As you can tell, I'm rocking all my Texas stuff today. So I am
That's right.
all about bashing Baker Mayfield. He is the devil. So that is completely fine with me. Unfortunately, the devil got his due today. They won. Like you said, they beat the Giants, and Baker did his little celebration to DeVito, making fun of him there. DeVito trying to get his first start of the season, and it went abysmally. The Giants could not get anything going, whether it was on the ground or through the air. DeVito finished the day 21 for 31, 189 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Run game couldn't even get 76 yards rushing between 4 or 5 different ball carriers there. On the flip side, the rush game for the Tampa Bay Bucks was just humming. Everybody who ran the ball got a touchdown today. Looking down the stat sheet, Bucky Irving, 12 carries, 87 yards, touchdown. Rashad White, 12 carries, 37 yards, touchdown. Baker Mayfield, 4 carries, 29 yards and a touchdown. And even Sean Tucker, 4 carries, 3 yards and a touchdown. So if you ran the ball for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today, you got yourself a touchdown. That's how they scored as many points as they did. The Buccaneers roll. And one nice thing to see, even though I'm not a Buccaneers fan, it was good to see Mike Evans come back and be healthy for the first time in quite a few weeks.
Absolutely.
I know he had that nasty hamstring injury earlier in the season. So Mike Evans coming back today, catching the ball 5 times for 68 yards. So Bucks get the win that they needed to move to 5-6. The Giants continue to lose and drop to 2-9.
Can the Bucks just sneak back into this whole deal?
They certainly have the opportunity to. I mean, if unfortunately they don't play the New York Giants every week, that certainly helped this week. Other than the one garbage touchdown in the fourth quarter, I mean, the Giants were not really a factor in this game. So, the Buccaneers, you can't write them off, especially in the NFC South. They have a good chance. I will go ahead and write off the New York Giants, though. They are done. Even Drew Lock's one pass attempt and one completion for 3 yards did not get them over the hump.
I think the biggest winner today was Daniel Jones.
Don't you see him like walking away from like the explosion but over his shoulder and just like smoking a cigarette, just like, yeah. I'm going to the Raiders.
Now it's we need Morgan Freeman here. Daniel Jones went through 200 yards of the foulest smelling football gunk and sewage
to Las Vegas.
Freedom.
Oh, poor guy.
Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot do impressions.
In a world.
Oh, I like it. All right, so let's keep it going before we've kept on the rails, and that's odd for us here. So let's keep on going. Another crazy game. The Vikings 30, the Bears 27 in overtime. I'm starting to think the Vikings, after I tried to write them off 4 weeks ago, I'm starting to think the Vikings haven't figured it out and are charmed, Hogan.
Yeah, for sure. The Vikings certainly have a horseshoe up their keister that keeps letting them win some crazy games that maybe they didn't deserve to win, but at the same time, the Bears did not do themselves any service in overtime in this game. But going into overtime, the Bears absolutely made it wild where they scored, got the 2-point conversion. I believe they recovered the onside kick and kicked the field goal to tie it up with no time left there at 27-27, but they fall short to the Minnesota Vikings 30-27 in overtime. Sam Darnold, his reemergence has just been a wonder story this year, throwing for 22 of 34 passes, 330 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Shockingly, neither of those touchdowns went to Justin Jefferson, who had a very pedestrian day with 2 catches and 27 yards. His counterpart, Jordan Addison, 8 catches, 162 yards, and a touchdown. Aaron Jones on the ground, 22 carries, 106 yards, and a touchdown. But on the Bears side, Caleb Williams did everything he could to win this game. 340 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. DJ Moore got it going, 7 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. But again, it wasn't enough to overcome the deficit that they fell into at overtime, where the Vikings were able to get it done. Vikings move on to 9-2. Bears, unfortunately, fall to 4-7.
I got to bring another guy up here because if I'm not mistaken, didn't Keenan Allen have 2 touchdowns or 2 big catches in this game?
9 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. He had a couple of he had the 2-point conversion that set up the potential game tying field goal there. So
red zone sometimes.
He also had a huge pass that was negated because he stepped out of bounds, and so it was a medium pass. It was not as large as it should have been.
Yeah,
red
Even
zone.
though he was wearing white shoes, we could still see it. Unfortunately,
Jess, I'm trying to set up a very bad red zone joke.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me get out of the way. Go ahead.
So red zone gets me discombobulated, but I've never been combobulated before, so it does not matter. Okay, just interrupt me next time. That was pretty bad stuff. But let's talk about this game, because Jess, I'm thinking for the Bears, this is a great setup for them. They can still be in the bottom, maybe get a top 10 pick, but it's a moral victory for this team to see what they can do and to come together. I know we don't love moral victories here in the NFL, and a lot of people will say, a lot of players and coaches will say there's no moral victories, but you got to like what they're starting to set up, because there are a lot of people down on Caleb Williams, Jess.
Well, they certainly got something going there. I mean, the fact they were able to hang as long as they were with the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, they're 9-2. Chicago falls to 4-7. It is a division game, right? I mean, it's not the trap game. It almost was a trap game, but the Bears fans should be happy. Like Caleb Williams balled out today, and he's their future, and they're only going to get better with him as the cornerstone for this team. And so, they fell short today, but the draft is coming up in April. We're going to do our draft show, and we'll tell you all about who the Bears are going to take and how it's going to help them going forward.
All right. Good plug. Good idea, Jess. You thought of that all.
Let me check my calendar.
Hogan, we're going to stay on this game. Hogan and Jess, I'm going to ask you both this. Can Daniel Jones be in play here for the Vikings? Is this, or would that be a slap in the face of Darnold?
I'll take this. This is absolutely would be a slap in the face of Sam Darnold with what he's been able to do so far for this Vikings team. Daniel Jones obviously did the best that he could with the supporting cast around him in New York, but he has never been that kind of guy that is going to immediately bring you in and win you a Super Bowl, win you multiple playoff games. And I get that Sam Darnold also hasn't been that guy for the teams he's played for, but what he's been able to do for this Vikings team so far this year with Justin Jefferson, the rapport he has with Addison at this point now, TJ Hawkinson in the mix, and Aaron Jones, who looks phenomenal after coming over from the castaway of Green Bay, the way they did him. This Vikings team is primed to win now, and Kevin O'Connell has got something special with Sam Darnold working right now, and especially where they have the rookie J.J. McCarthy waiting at some point when he becomes healthy to take over whenever Sam Darnold does decide to leave town. I don't think it would be a smart move to pursue Daniel Jones at this point.
Jess, I'm the kind of guy that will disagree with Hogan on this, and we don't disagree very often, but I will say this. I like Daniel Jones as a break glass in case of emergency type of quarterback in Minnesota.
If he's your emergency quarterback, you've got bigger problems. Like, he's not going to be the guy to come in and put you over the top if Darnold goes down or struggles or any of that. Like, I almost wonder if it's more beneficial for Daniel Jones to wait to sign with the team, not maybe 1 or 2 weeks, because there's going to be quarterbacks still going down, and there's going to be some contenders that have quarterback injuries, and or at least the opportunity there to come in and play the role of the savior, as opposed to the guy who's just kind of running out the season.
Very fair. Let's go to the NFC West. We've got 3 teams to talk about here. We'll talk about the first 2 here, the Seahawks and the Cardinals, 16-6. With Seattle winning at home over Arizona. Hogan.
Yeah, this one was kind of a surprise for me, where I thought Arizona was finally taking those steps to really take advantage of that number 1 spot in the NFC West that they had going into this game. De facto losing it to the Seattle Seahawks, who beat them in this game 16-6, like you said. Geno Smith did not light the world on fire, but threw for 254 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The run game on neither side really got going at all. The Seahawks ended up running for 65 yards total on the ground, where the Arizona Cardinals ran for 49 yards total on the ground. And between running backs like Kenneth Walker III and James Conner, this was a huge surprise to me as a football fan. However, the receiving side, both sides got some guys going. Jackson Smith and Jigba there, 6 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown for Seattle. That was enough scoring for them to get the job done today. On the Arizona side, Trey McBride continues to impress at the tight end spot, 12 catches and 133 yards. Unfortunately, no touchdowns scored for Arizona. Kyler Murray putting up 285 yards and 1 interception. Arizona takes a step back to fall to 6-5. Seattle leaps ahead of them to go 6-5.
And the Rams at 5-5 are lurking as well. So that makes me ask you, Jess, do you believe in this Seahawks team? Because it seems like the 49ers are falling off, and we're going to talk about them in a second. Seems like the Seahawks could run away in the Pacific Northwest.
What does that look like in the NFC West? You got 6-5, 6-5, 5-5, and I don't happen to have the 49ers schedule in front of us, but it doesn't look like anybody's running away with anything.
Well, let me rephrase that then. It looks like they could put themselves in a pole position, especially if the Rams fall to Philadelphia this evening.
I think this division is going to come down to the last week of the season, and it's going to be a wild overtime finish in game 18, week 18, and the playoff seeding will fall as it does. I don't know. I could not be less interested in the NFC West. It's kind of an afterthought division this year.
Wow, it seems like the only division to really talk about right now is
the AFC West. That's right. You're right.
Goodness.
Let's go back. Let's talk about the Broncos beating the Raiders.
Yeah, we will. And let's talk about the Packers 38 and the 49ers 10. Of course, no Brock Purdy in this game, but the Packers, they poured it on in many a way, Hogan.
Yeah, this was a very wake-up call game for the 49ers, who have kind of had their comeuppance this year, having that Super Bowl hangover that they've had, fallen to 5-6, like you said, to the Green Bay Packers, losing 38-10 today. Brandon Allen coming in relief of Brock Purdy, who was unable to play today, could not get anything going except a little bit of a nice connection there with George Kittle, who finished the day with 6 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. No ground game whatsoever. Christian McCaffrey, 11 carries, 31 yards. It was just abysmal for the 49ers all around. However, on the other side, the Green Bay Packers took care of business. Josh Jacobs was on fire today, running the ball 26 times, 106 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That complemented only by Jordan Love throwing the ball for 13 completions out of 23 attempts, 163 yards, and 2 touchdowns there. I mean, Green Bay, when they get going, they look scary, and Lambeau Field was it was a little slippery there. A lot of guys slipping and sliding all over the place, so it wasn't exactly the best day all around for the field conditions there, but Green Bay took advantage of it, and they laid the hammer to the San Francisco 49ers, and if they don't figure it out, like you said, they're going to find themselves at the bottom of that NFC West division, where Green Bay is fighting for their lives with Detroit and Minnesota over there in the NFC North.
I got to tell you, though, Jess, I think the Packers could be a very dangerous number 6 seed or possibly a number 7 seed in here and really make a run because they're putting together a good team. And also, do you just love, I'm not talking about Jordan Love, but Josh Jacobs now.
It's kind of fun to see Josh Jacobs running in gold and green. I do like seeing that. Jordan Love is great. I mean, he's a lot of fun to watch. We had this. I don't know if it was on this show or another show, but you can't go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. And if you rank them, I would put Jordan Love in the 3rd spot of those 3. But he's still heck of fun to watch, and I think he's going to be good for Green Bay for years to come. I don't see a bottom falling out. It's the Green Bay Packers are nothing if they're not consistent, and so they're going to do what they do, and they're going to be a force come playoff time.
All right, hell of a game going on right now. As we're going to go ahead and talk about the Eagles and Rams. It's 7-3 right now. 2 Jake Elliott field goals. There is 6:20 left in the second quarter in Los Angeles. The Rams had a Kyron Williams touchdown as well. So they went ahead and they are winning 7-6 in this game. So much to talk about, but we would be remiss if we did not talk about Zach Bond, who has 1 tackle and 1 assist.
Zach Bond, yay!
And that is an ode to our good friend and member of our fearsome foursome here, Aiden Reed, who with, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, BSL, Broad Street LinkedIn, for our Philadelphia Eagles affiliate here on the Fans First Sports Network. He is enjoying the game right now. He will probably be back with us next week, so that'll be great. And so much to talk about. Guys, this was a great slate of games. A lot of fun. Let's talk about our teams of the week. Hogan, let's start with you.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and actually do a little something different this time. And I'm going to pick a team that did not win today, but I'm going to go with my team of the week with the Carolina Panthers.
I like
for
it.
shocking a lot of people and giving the Chiefs everything they possibly could, bringing them to the brink. And even though they lost at the end there with that last second field goal, Bryce Young is slowly but surely impressing me, where I talked a lot of smack about him because I thought he was, a dumpster fire player and a dumpster fire team. And if he continues to rally his guys around him to play against tough teams like the Chiefs the way they did today, I think he has a bright future ahead of him if he can continue to have the success he had today.
All right, Jess, just say Broncos and be done with it.
I would take the Broncos. 99% of the time I would. But I'm just going to give a shout out to the Detroit Lions. They are playing the game like it should be played. They are a ton of fun. They are producing points left and right. And Gibbs and Montgomery and Goff and, oh my God, Laporta. Like, it's just a fun team to watch. And so they are my team of the week.
I'm going to go ahead and stay in division. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. I love what they did against the 49ers. I think that shows dominance. We could go with so many other teams. We can give a shout out to the Titans. We could give a shout out to the Vikings as well. The Cowboys even could deserve a shout out, but I'm really liking the Packers right now. So put some Limburger on my head and call me a cheesehead. That's what I'm saying, boys. All right, so plenty to talk about. We might have, and now we talked about this a little bit the last couple weeks. We might have 2 shows possibly next weekend and break it down with a lot of games going on. We've got 3 Thanksgiving games. We have a Black Friday game as well. So maybe we go ahead and do 2 shows next week, 2 more abbreviated shows. That's up to you guys. We'll talk about that more. We had some initial discussions together about that. Aiden Reed will probably be back as well, so it'll be great to have the gang back together in some kind of formation, but we appreciate all of you. So make sure that you check out Hogan on Foxborough Frenzy. Make sure you check out Jess Place. He is going to be on Mile High Broncos. And then myself, you'll find me on the Steel Curtain Network. You'll find me on the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Network as well. And then don't forget about, we just mentioned before, Aiden Reed for all your Zach Bond news and more about the Philadelphia Eagles. It's Broad Street LinkedIn here on the Fans First Sports Network. But that's not just it. We have so many other great networks here to talk about. Bleachers to Speakers for the Detroit Lions. We have got the gold standard for the 49ers. So many more that I can't mention them all. We would be here all night, but some fantastic stuff. Whoever your favorite team is, make sure you check it here on the Fans First Sports Network. And this show is on our NFL affiliate here on the Fans First Sports Network. Lots of great shows every single day. Make sure you check those out as well. Thank you so much. Jess, have a great week.
Have a great week.
All right, Hogan, happy Thanksgiving. And Jess, happy Thanksgiving.
Woo-hoo.
Happy Turkey Day.
I'm putting on my buckle shoes right now.
All right.
I'm
Or
super excited.
to quote Joey from Friends, these are my Thanksgiving pants as I break out my wife's old maternity clothes. So with that being said, gentlemen, we've got one last thing to say. This has been the Fans First Football Show from the Fans First Sports Network. And you know it. Gentlemen, say it for me. Go
football.
Go football.